That's right. Straight up.
We're live. Okay, this is the St. Lawrence County Industrial December 21st, 2021 meeting.
This is it.
Mr. Chairman, I call the meeting to order.
Oh, my goodness.
We have a little reverb here going on. Give us a second to try to limit the echo.
Want me to get my guitar?
Can we turn that down?
I don't know. Unplug something.
Sounds like one of the laptops.
Today. I am.
It's, I wonder. All right, so it's live, but it's muted.
So I unmuted and we still have the echo back.
Does somebody on the other line have it? Are you on the phone and playing it on your computer? All right. I might have ideas.
All right.
I'm on the phone and I'm also watching you on my computer.
Yeah.
Turn off the computer.
So what do we?
They should probably mute
I'll take you
their.
off the phone then, right?
Why don't you? Can you mute the computer maybe? We'll see if that does it.
My computer is muted.
Can you just turn it off?
Yeah. How about? Can you? What if we just disconnect the live stream?
Want me to disconnect them?
Right.
Yeah, Brian, if you don't need to see this, why don't you try disconnect?
Okay, I've gone off speakerphone.
How about if you turn off the live stream on the computer?
You're right, this is way more.
You're going.
Zoom.
I turned you off completely. All I am is on the phone.
What about these two laptops here?
Mine's not.
So you're not streaming.
No, I'll just stop it off. Shouldn't have been on anything, but
I don't think that's any better. This.
So.
why do we need two?
Yeah, but
Why do we have
two
that and one?
conference call devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There can be.
Yeah, it's,
What is that thing?
That's the audio for the live. Do you think the live stream can pick up the conference call without having that on?
can you mute this one?
Mute that one, they can't hear us.
Who's on third?
I thought they could hear through that one.
Can you still hear us?
God bless New York State.
Double it anyway. Well, Andy, the article pretty much writes itself, doesn't it?
This is the, testing.
Let's go.
All right, okay, we think we've resolved it.
So much for taking over the IT work.
There you go thinking again.
So, Chairman Staples, would you like to call the meeting to order?
Okay, so which,
For the third time, I call the meeting to the Lawrence County IDA to order. Could we have a roll call?
Mr. LaBeouf,
Here.
Mr. McMahon. Mr.
He
McMahon,
was here. He was there.
Mr.
I'm
Blevins.
here. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Andy.
I was here.
Mr. Staples,
Here.
Mr. Morrow,
Here.
Mr. Hall,
I'm here.
Mr. Reagan. Roll call's complete.
We have a quorum. Mr. Staples, we do have a quorum.
Very good. I would like Lynn to run the meeting as he does in his professional manner.
Very good. Public notice was sent out December 16th, 2021. Public comment. Would you like to make a comment as part of the public? No comment from the public and no other public being here. We'll move on to the approval of minutes. We need to have a motion to do such.
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion on the approval of the minutes of November 12th, 2021? Hearing none, I will call it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
No one's opposed, so the ayes have it, and it is approved. Financial report for September and October 2021.
You want to do the motion and stuff first?
You do want to do the motion, thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Sorry.
All right, any discussion? We'll have Kim talk a little bit probably.
We have September and October financials in your packet. If you look at the highlight sheet for September 2021, we had a little over $300,000 of project fees, mainly from Next Amp Solar. There was also application fees from GSPP and the Oswegatchie TJA. October highlight sheet shows payment for our 2021 actuarial study that's required, as well as partial reimbursement from the River Valley Agency for marketing expenses of 2021. Does anybody have any specific questions?
Hearing none, we will call the vote. All in favor of approving the financial report, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Hearing none, the ayes have it, the financial report is approved. And we will go to report of committees. We're the governance committee. Mr. Hall, I know you probably want me to talk about that.
Were you here? That's the one, you were on the phone?
I was on the phone.
Okay.
If you want to talk about it, it'd be great. Then you won't, I don't have to, but if you want me to, I will.
Well, we reviewed the annual conflicts of interest policy, the procurement policy, investment policy, and non-sexual harassment policy. Very minor punctuation changes were all that were made in those policies. And were all approved by the governance committee.
Thank you for that report. We'll move on to staff reports, Patrick.
Thank you. I attended an informational session put on by Empire State Mines last week in the town of Fowler regarding some surface mining that they plan on starting next year. It's about a 2-year project where they'll be mining They have a few open pit projects within proximity of the main processing facility. So they gave an informational summary and report to some of the neighbors and stakeholders. The price of zinc is approximately $1.56 a pound, which remains.
Wow.
Which remains good. Employment levels there are over 100, and they see some modest potential growth potential next year. So it was a very comprehensive, thorough, and well put together presentation. So there's some exciting things happening there. We have been working on some ARPA, the American Recovery Program funding allocation ideas for St. Lawrence County. We've been in discussions with the county about some recommendations. As people may be aware, they conducted a public survey about ways to utilize the funding. We've had conversations where we've coordinated the ideas that we've had with the chamber, with the Cornell Cooperative Extension. I think as everybody knows, we've all been working pretty closely together throughout the pandemic. So there's the benefits of that cohesion, I think, are numerous, and one of them is as we look at different ways to allocate some of the resources that are coming into the county from federal sources, trying to be reinforcing and help one another as the different allocation ideas are presented. As we know more, I'll share with you about what role we may have partnering with the county and on any requests that we may see ourselves. The unemployment rate, most recent one was 4.4%. That was for October. Total workforce of 42,200. The New York State unemployment rate for the same period was 6.9%. This continues this somewhat unusual trend of our unemployment rate being lower than New York State's. We continue to work with our employer base on workforce development and training issues. I think that there's plenty of news coverage and awareness of the supply chain issues, many of which are not being driven by products or shortages. It's a workforce shortage, and that's an issue around the country and around the world. Continue to look at training programs and have discussions with our resource partners and providers, different ways that we can work to try to improve. We're doing some review of the different programs that are out there that we think are going to be funded that may enable us to try to help address some of these issues locally. That is it for your staff report. Brief one this morning.
Thank you very much. Under old business, we have nothing on the agenda. Under new business, we do have some resolutions. The first four of which Mr. Hall touched on. They were reviewed extensively by the governance committee and recommended that we approve them at this meeting. Hopefully you've all had a chance to look at them. I think it would be appropriate to make, if anyone is so moved, to have a consent agenda for the first four.
I move that we take the first four off.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Anyone have any questions about that? Certainly, we can talk about it right now. Hearing none, I will move that to a vote. All in favor of the consent agenda for the first four resolutions, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Say nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the first four resolutions are approved by the full board. Moving on to the resolution approving for TJA-NY-1454 CR15 Oswegatchie LLC.
I will make that motion.
Mr. Hall has voted. We hear a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
I will point out the primary information for the project is on Exhibit A from your packet, which is consistent with the project evaluation and cost benefit analysis. It's a 5 megawatt project, 5,000 per megawatt, which has been consistent with the others we have approved this year. This is approximately 28 acres, Source Renewables, who we have dealt with before as a developer who has, they sold one project to operating entity that we wound up not doing a pilot with. We believe this one, their expectation is the pilot will wind up being approved or utilized. We continue to work with the assessors around the county and the real property tax office to have an understanding of the guidelines and the guidance from New York State Tax and Finance and real property as it relates to the assessment levels on these projects. We are definitely seeing with the new formula, the income-based formula that the state has prescribed for valuing these, that the benefit, the pilot amounts are much less. The difference between what a pilot facility would be in full taxes is almost negligible, and in some cases, in this case, early projections, so that a tax value might even be lower. I'm sorry, might even be higher. No, lower. It's hard to think with the mask on.
Higher.
No, the pilot payment levels are higher than some of the estimated tax levels.
Good.
But that
Okay, understood.
but it gives certainty for the developer, so there's comfort around that. And again, it's still very early stage in utilizing the calculations provided by New York State. So we expect there could be some,
Once the bugs are worked out.
yeah, some variation in those final numbers, but it looks like the assessed value and piloted values will wind up being very, very close. That's it.
This is the
You
benefit.
get 36,000? The highest payment's 36,000, right?
In the
In
pilot.
the year 20.
Schedule must be.
Yes, yeah, correct,
2022, 2043, and it's 36,420, right?
correct,
Then it starts going down.
correct.
Well, I won't be here to find out. I wouldn't count on that, Ernie. A little bit.
Okay, so is there any more discussion on the resolution after hearing?
Call the question.
Patrick very clearly stated. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. Resolution is passed. Do we have a need for an executive session?
We do not for the IDA.
That leaves us with one thing, gentlemen.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's been brought to my attention, Mr. Hall, his term this year, is expiring, and as per the county's,
I
procedure.
move we send in a letter recommending that he be reappointed. Yeah, I don't want him to expire.
I probably ought to take a vote on that.
No. I didn't expire with that COVID.
Further, you were starting to say further county.
I would, if we can get a second and a vote, Mr. LaBatt is spot on.
Mr. Lapp wants to make a resolution that we recommend Mr. Hall be reappointed to the board.
Yes.
I second that.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion about Mr. Hall? We can have an open public. All right, so all in favor of the resolution, recommending Mr. Hall be reappointed to the board, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay?
I will abstain.
Thank you. The motion is carried. Please, we will make that resolution. Get that-
So noted.
Now we will take, A motion to adjourn.
One more thing before
I
adjournment.
so move.
Oh.
The governance
Okay.
committee did review the assessment of internal controls.
Yep.
And no changes, recommended it was good to go, and it has been renewed for 1 more year.
And we will have some recommended minor changes to the mission statement when we do our annual review and our performance evaluation with our annual reporting after the first of the year for this year. It's the same commas.
We will have a chance to
Yeah,
review, to see
it's
that.
literally the placement of 2 commas.
So, and make sure that everybody gets a chance to see that before it goes. So we are adjourned with the item A.
Okay.